July 6, 2012. It was a warm summer night in the sleepy town of Star City, West Virginia. The kind of night when the air feels heavy and the world slows down. Most homes were quiet, lights off, doors locked. The clock read 12:31 a.m. when a grainy security camera at an apartment complex captured its final glimpse of Skylar Neese. A petite girl with long brown hair climbed out of her bedroom window with practiced quiet like she'd done it before. She carried a small bag and looked back once before slipping into the night. What she didn't know was that her two best friends, girls she trusted with her life, were waiting in the dark. Moments later, a silver Toyota Camry pulled up. Skylar got in, and she never came back. But before we get into today's disturbing case, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts down in the comments. This is the haunting story of Skylar Neese. Skylar Annette Neese was born on February 10, 1996, in Morgantown, West Virginia. She was the only child of Mary and David Neese, a tight-knit, working-class couple who poured every ounce of love into raising her. Dave worked maintenance at Walmart, and Mary was a medical assistant. They were devoted parents who described Skylar as their world. She was independent, highly intelligent, and known for her strong will, even as a child. Her parents nurtured her love for reading and learning, encouraged her to think critically, and instilled in her a strong sense of justice. Skylar was a standout student at University High School. She was on the honor roll, and she loved literature, particularly crime novels and legal dramas. She wanted to be a criminal defense attorney, and she had the grades and drive to make it happen. She worked part-time at Wendy's to earn her own money and was responsible and goal-oriented. She was also witty and outspoken, especially on Twitter. Her feed was filled with sarcasm, commentary on her social life, and occasional emotional outbursts that hinted at trouble among her circle of friends. Skylar's longest friendship was with Shelia Eddy. They had met in second grade and had grown up together. Shelia, born September 28, 1995, was pretty, charming, and outgoing. She was the kind of girl who seemed to have it all, but beneath the surface, her life was far more chaotic. Her parents divorced when she was young. She lived with her mother, Tara Eddy, who often allowed Shelia to do whatever she wanted. There were few boundaries in the Eddy household, and Shelia had a reputation for manipulating others to get her way. In high school, Shelia met Rachel Shoaf, a redhead who came from a deeply religious Catholic family. Rachel was active in the drama club and was known for being theatrical both on and off stage. She and Shelia became inseparable, quickly forming a bond that began to alienate Skylar. What was once a trio of close-knit friends turned toxic. Skylar increasingly found herself on the outside. Her tweets hinted at betrayal and distrust. Tensions were high. Shelia and Rachel were growing closer and more secretive. There were whispers that the two were romantically involved, something neither wanted exposed. Skylar may have known their secret. There were also drug use and risky behavior. Skylar had started smoking marijuana with them, and there were nights of sneaking out, partying, and posting cryptic messages online. But Skylar remained grounded in ways the other two weren't. She still had goals, rules, and a sense of direction. By spring 2012, Skylar had become a threat to Shelia and Rachel. She knew too much. She had seen too much, and she was starting to pull away. Rachel and Shelia began discussing killing Skylar weeks before they carried it out. They created a plan and stuck to it. They decided on a location in Wayne Township, Pennsylvania, remote, wooded, and just over the state line. It was a place they had hung out at before, far from witnesses and teensent. They prepared with chilling precision. They each brought kitchen knives. They packed bleach, paper towels, and clean clothes. They brought a shovel, but later discovered the ground was too hard to dig and dulling. They told Skylar they just wanted to go for a late-night smoke ride. Their plan was to stab her on the count of 3. On July 5, 2012, Skylar finished her shift at Wendy's, came home, had dinner with her parents, and went to bed. She had no idea that her two closest friends had packed a kill kit and were planning to murder her that very night. After midnight, Skylar slipped out of her bedroom window and got into Shelia's car. They drove 30 miles to the Pennsylvania woods. The girls talked and laughed during the ride. When they arrived, they walked to a familiar spot along the tree line and lit a joint. Rachel and Shelia waited for the right moment. Then they counted aloud and they lunged. Skylar tried to run. She managed to grab Rachel's knife once, leaving a deep cut on her ankle, but she was outnumbered. They stabbed her more than 50 times. Rachel later said Skylar kept fighting, kept asking, why? Eventually, she was too weak to resist. She fell. They dragged her lifeless body into the brush, covered her with branches and rocks, and left. Back in the car, they cleaned themselves with bleach, changed clothes, and threw their bloody clothing and knives in a storm drain. At noon on July 6th, Dave Neese came home from work to find Skylar missing. Her bed hadn't been slept in. Her phone charger and contact lenses were still at home. Security footage from the apartment complex showed her sneaking out and getting into a car around 12:31 a.m. Her parents knew something was wrong. Shelia and Rachel told police they picked Skylar up but dropped her off a block away from her apartment an hour later, but clearly was a lie. Surveillance and cell phone records contradicted them. Yet with no signs of foul play, police initially treated the case as a runaway. Mary and Dave never believed it. They contacted the media, passed out flyers, and appeared on national television. Shelia even helped them distribute flyers, acting like a concerned friend. On Twitter, Shelia posted eerie and cryptic messages. We really did go on 3. No one on this earth can handle me and Rachel, but Rachel grew more erratic, and her guilt became unbearable. Rachel's Shoaf finally broke. On January 3, 2013, with her attorney present, she confessed to police. She said, "Teen, we stabbed her, we just didn't like her anymore." She led investigators to the wooded area where Skylar's body lay under a pile of brush, now skeletal. Animal activity and weather had scattered the remains. Police found the shovel and fragments of clothing. DNA and dental records confirmed Skylar's identity on March 13, 2013. After Rachel's confession, investigators built a case against Shelia. They monitored her movements, tapped her phone, and gathered evidence. On September 4, 2013, Shelia Eddy was arrested in a dramatic takedown in a parking lot. Interrogations revealed Shelia showed no remorse. She was calm, even defiant. She refused to cooperate, denied everything until the end. Her behavior in court was just as cold. Rachel Shoaf was charged with second-degree murder and pled guilty on May 1, 2013. She apologized in court and cried during her statement. Her remorse was clear. Shelia Eddy, on the other hand, pled guilty to first-degree murder on January 24, 2014. She showed little emotion. The person who did this to Skylar was someone that she trusted. Mary Neese, in her victim impact statement, called Shelia evil and said she hoped she never walked free again. Rachel Shoaf was sentenced to 30 years in prison, eligible for parole after 10. And Shelia Eddy, life in prison, eligible for parole after 15. Both girls are currently incarcerated in West Virginia. Skylar's murder inspired legislative change. In 2013, West Virginia passed Skylar's Law, expanding Amber Alert criteria to include all missing children believed to be in danger, even without confirmed abduction. A memorial was placed in the woods where she died. Her parents remain vocal advocates for missing children and victims of violent crime. Skylar Neese was smart, vibrant, and full of life. Her tragic death left a lasting mark on her community and the nation. Her story is a chilling reminder that evil sometimes wears the face of a friend. She thought she was going for a drive with her best friends. Instead, she was walking into a planned execution, all because they just didn't like her anymore. She was only 16. Sleep well.